Bonjour. Tonight, this is appropriate. Okay. Bonjour, good evening. How is everybody? Tonight, that is appropriate because we are talking about French cheeses and French wines. So we have our panel, of course, Caroline.
Bonjour.
Jason Blanchette was Epic Wines and Vegas Golden Knights, and we got Chef Benoit.
Bonjour.
Okay, so he's the one who baked these absolutely incredible baguettes for you. And Caroline selected the cheeses. And of course, we have our lovely ladies, the cheese curd nerds over here.
Hello.
Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
So first off, thank you, everybody. And Chef Benoit, thank you very much.
Merci for having me.
Absolutely beautiful baguettes. Jason, thank you for coming in. And Caroline, here we go. So we're starting early drinking. So it's not a drinking game. All right. So Jason, you want to talk about the wines tonight?
Sure. Yeah, briefly go over them. So there are three wines. One that everybody was able to enjoy, the Untitled Rouge from Provence, the Jean Laurent Fleury from Beaujolais, and then we also have the Moyard, which we sold all of it. So unfortunately, we can't drink it. But Moyard Burgundy, Pinot Noir. The Untitled basically is a homage to Iggy Pop's Use It in the Passage. That's where they kind of get the label from. A few different lines that they go through, but this is a fairly new one, and the label will change fairly often as well. It's a Sera Grenache blend. Sometimes the blend does change year to year. The Syrah gives it that rich decadence, and the Grenache gives a little pepperiness and a little bit more red fruit. Generally, a lot of times Syrah can be a little overbearing and a little too rich. It's usually blended, and this time it is with Grenache to lighten that up. The Fleury is a village in Beaujolais, 10 villages. Fleury is known for its aromatics. It's very floral, hence the name. The winery's been around since the early 1800s. And then the Moyard, another storied producer that's been around for hundreds of years, a classic producer that makes delicious.
Yes. Do you make any rustic breads?
How would you qualify as rustic bread? Sourdoughs?
Well, I would think more of a.
Yeah, we do. I do batars for the most part. Or a little bakery menu every single week. Every Saturday we try to change it to keep everybody interested and keep it entertaining for everyone. We do, however, do baguette and country sourdough every single week. So yes, we do rustique batards every single week.
Hey, why don't you go ahead actually and introduce yourself, since you're new to the panel and first time here tonight.
Absolutely.
So,
well, thank you very much, Michael, for having me today. Thank you very much for showcasing my product and my little bakery. So Cottage Food Bakery, French Cottage Bakery was created about 3 years ago to start selling panettone, which is a product for the holidays that I produce all over October, November, December, and sell over at the farmers market at downtown Summerlin. But since then, my doing all kinds of breads, and since the start of the COVID quarantine and everything that's happening these days, my wife and I decided to start this pop-up bakery on Saturdays, doing pre-sales and advertising over Instagram and Facebook in our neighborhood, and hopefully expanding. Thanks to Michael.
absolutely. We always loved having you. The first time you came in and introduced me to your panettone, it was a treat. It was an absolute treat, and I'm pretty sure you feel the same way. I can wait because I don't want it to be Christmas, but yes, I do want this year to be over. But we can wait for this, okay? So be excited about it. September, October, like Chef Benoit says, we're going to bring back the panettone. It's usually 3 different flavors.
So yeah, 3 flavors. We do the traditional orange and raisins. Then we do a rift on it, which is chocolate and orange, as well as a pistachio and cherry.
Okay.
This year, all bets are off because we're changing our packaging, and we're not going to be stuck to 3 flavors. It's going to be one single packaging with different labeling, so
Okay.
we can do seasonal within the season.
Oh, awesome.
So we probably will try to do some stuff for Thanksgiving, probably caramel pecan type of deal, and then as different product get available, we'll change the flavor.
Good.
But
Fantastic.
I would plan on definitely the chocolate orange and the orange raisin being there this year.
By the way, all of these panettones are also making absolutely the best French toast that you have ever seen. Just dip it lightly in a nice egg batter and then fry it up. Drizzle over a really nice, beautiful maple leaf syrup, or for wintertime, we have a balsa fir syrup from New
yeah.
Leaf, and that would be just absolutely spectacular for that.
That would be grand. That would be
Okay,
grand.
so yes, we're excited for it.
Thank you.
Okay. Caroline, you want to go ahead and introduce the cheeses tonight?
Yes, of course. But first of all, I would like to say that, well, this is a lovely French bread. and this morning when I came, the smell of the French bread, it was like I was in France, in a French bakery. So I just would like to mention that because I was so happy this morning. I said, oh, wow. So yeah, so the bread is really like, the French bread you find in France, very, the inside is very light and the outside very crispy. So it's a beautiful French bread. Yes.
I had to literally hold her back before she was jumping on all the baguettes and just devour them.
Yeah.
So we kept some for you.
Yeah, I'm frustrated with that guy today.
Okay, what cheeses do we have tonight?
Okay, so all French cheeses tonight. So we're gonna start with the Pilota, or the tome that we call in France tome vache brebis for cows and sheep's milk cheese. And then we're gonna move over the Morbier.
So here's the Pilota. Okay, so just so you all see it. Okay, and then we're gonna go right into the Morbier.
You could recognize
Right over
this
here, right there
very
was this
easily,
beautiful line through it. Okay, and next,
then the next will be the Comté.
right over here.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Right here.
piece of Comté. This one right now should be aged roughly about 8 months. Okay, so right between 6 and 8 months.
And the last one would be the Mimolette, the orange one.
So, okay, and we're gonna introduce every cheese as we're going along, as you know, and then of course taste them along with the wines. And please feel free to shoot us back all your questions. We're gonna try to answer as many as we can. I cannot tell you, it was such a pleasure seeing you all today, or most of them while I was here, and getting to talk to you. We really miss you all here at the shop, and seeing you in the next class here right at the shop. Okay, so
Okay.
go
So-
ahead.
The first one, the tome vache brebis, cows and sheep's milk. So this one is made in the Basque region, so in the Pyrenees mountain. So this one is a very creamy texture. It's ivory in color, and it's got the buttery flavor with a note of fresh hay.
Cool.
So
It's also called Pelota. A lot of people know it as Pelota. Tom Pilota, produced by Untitled.
yeah, so to make that beautiful cheese, there's 4 steps. So first one, you fill the vat with the milk. And of course, the milk are collected in the farm around. And so put the milk in the vat, and they they heat it a little bit, yes, and they add the enzyme to cause the milk to curd. And then the second step is to stir the curds with a large whisk. And during this step, the milk is broken into curds, and then it's been drained. And then after that, the curds are, the cheesemaker put the curds into the mold to drain, in the perforated mold to be drained, and they press the the curds to even take out of more whey. And then the cheese after that is removed from the mold, and it's salted with a brine to preserve the freshness and improve the taste of the cheese. After that, the cheese is put in the cellar, and where the master affiner are taking care of those beautiful cheeses. And after that, so those maîtres affineurs, they put the cheese, in the cellar, or they call that also the alloir in French.
Cheese cave.
Yes, and this is in a temperature control under like 53 degrees Fahrenheit. And so the affinage is very important of the cheese. So the cheese must be turned, washed, and brushed every 7 to 10 days. So they check the quality of each cheese, and it's all, the expertise of the maître affineur to bring that cheese to the fully aroma and texture and the wine formation.
Good. So normally this cheese is roughly aged about 60 to 90 days, more on the 90 days. It would go into the category of semi-firm to firm, okay? The flavor profile is, it smells of, when you smell it, actually, let's take a piece. So
yeah.
When you smell the cheese, it actually tastes of nuts, and it tastes of, Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Caroline.
Yes.
Here we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so it has this, it smells of nuts, and it smells of melted butter sizzling in a pan. It has this really nice aroma, almost like a grilled cheese would come together. And it makes a spectacular grilled cheese. So, but when you taste this cheese, so get it, smell it, and then you taste it. Just take a small bite, mush up, and then the flavors that are evolving in the back of your throat are you have a little bit of a sharpness, you have the sweet, you have the salt, you have some grassiness in there. So it's a beautiful all-around cheese. For cow and sheep, definitely one of my top of the list.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Nice. It's great cheese.
Delicious.
Okay, so that was the wine.
Which wine would you prefer?
I think, these are 3 French wines, obviously to go with the French cheese class, and it just depends on your flavor profile and, what direction you want to go in. I think that all 3 of these wines match up with this cheese in different styles. When we were talking about grilled cheese, we're talking about that butteriness. It's kind of like a, bacon fat cured meat kind of that glycerol note that you're going to get, which is classic with Sera. You're going to get a lot of those flavors coming through. It's a regional pairing in a sense. The Grenache brightens it, gives it a little bit that white pepper herbal note to it that matches up with the hay. I think the Moyard Pinot has probably the acid to cleanse it. It's kind of a contrast to that, creaminess and the crispness. You're going to get that beautiful red fruit, the wild pomegranate, strawberries, and raspberries. And I think the flurry kind of enhances the softness. I think, with the way, the style that the wine is made, it is to really enhance the texture and make the wine soft. It's really, really pretty and elegant, very, very aromatic.
Very beautiful, very nice aromas. We're gonna go over to the Kirtners.
Hi guys, long time no see, but go ahead, Janelle.
Go ahead. So Pelota is one of my new favorites. I think every cheese cast I find a new favorite. Wait, I lied. It's my second favorite. There's a different one. But anyway, so I actually took home this cheese, all 4 cheeses, and me and my brother were messing around trying to make some meals out of them. With the Pelota, we deep fried some squash and then grated some of the Pelota over it. Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
She sent me pictures and I was super jealous.
Mm-hmm.
But this cheese, I think, would pair really well with the apricots, just because of that savory and then sweet. I really enjoy it with the wine, the red wine that we have right here. They have 3, we have 1, but probably bet for the best.
We'll keep it that way.
Yeah. I'm very appreciative with all the information they gave us because we tried looking up information on this cheese and it was very difficult to.
Green olives, grilled cheese, squash, grated it over. It was,
With this wine and then this cheese, I just want a burger. I want this burger. It sounds delightful. I think every class I mentioned I want cheese on a burger. So you will definitely notice this trend with me. I just like.
That's all she eats, burgers.
Yeah. I
So-
do love burgers.
Think about right now in particular time going into summer, we have these absolutely gorgeous blossoms, squash blossoms coming out. So if you take those, a little bit of cheese on top of it, and then sear them up in a little bit of olive oil and some or butter, I think that would be fantastic. Okay, I think go ahead and give Claudia at Desert Pickle Farm a phone call and see. Yes, absolutely fantastic. Okay, the next one we have tonight would be, of course, like the Morbier, with this absolutely stunning layer in the middle. Okay, so Caroline.
So but before I'm talking about the Morbier, I would like to say that in France, for French people, it's cheese. We eat cheese with bread. So tonight, this is our first and favorite pairing in France. I don't know what you think, Benoit, but that's cheese and French bread. Yes, it is. That's the very best pairing
Or should
ever.
I say,
Here we go. Mhm.
And of course, you could use, if you have leftover bread, you could always make an amazing grilled cheese sandwiches with leftover cheeses. If you have leftovers, I don't know. Well, forget about that. So now, seriously, we're gonna talk about the Morbier. So the Morbier, it's an Morbier. Sorry,
Right here.
that's this one here.
So nasty.
I know. So the Morbier, it's an uncooked pressed raw milk cheese from the Massif Central, Jura, Alpine Mountain in France. So it takes this name from the village of this origin, Morbier, a small town in the Haut-Jura. Just a little precision. So this one is a Morbier style, and the name is Montboissier. But I'm gonna talk about the Morbier because it's pretty much exactly the same cheese, the same process to make that cheese.
One is a PDO and
The Morbier is a PDO, and
yes, and this
not.
one is actually not.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on right now, sorry we couldn't get it in. So this was the next closest thing, and it is a Morbier style cheese. So that's why it's actually produced. They can't call it Morbier because it's produced outside. They may be using creameries that are not allowed to provide the milk for the Morbier. Okay. It's the same region actually as the Comté. And it used to be made by some of the cheesemakers of the Comté region.
Yes.
Okay, so
in fact, this one is made in the Auvergne region, but the Morbier, like I said, is in a Massif du Jura, and it's the same region with the Comté. And it's a pretty close, history with Morbier and Comté. So let's talk about Morbier. So like I said, it's an uncooked pressed raw milk cheese. So it's got a very orange pig rind and smooth and tender cheese with an horizontal black ash line down in the middle.
the reason why on this one they actually have more of a red one is because they're actually using leaves of grapes. Okay, and they're literally drying them to the point where they're completely just turning into ash. In the old days, it was ash. The reason why they put the ash in, why don't you?
So they put the ash because, I mean, they decide to make the Morbier because, back then, they used the milk to make the Comté. But, to make the Comté, you need a lot of milk, and you need to bring the milk to the dairy to make the Comté. But in winter time, the weather was so bad, they couldn't come to the dairy, so they decide to keep the milk and make their own cheese. The only thing, it was not a lot of milk, so they're doing small batches of cheese, and they cover the cheese with ash, so the cheese could be safe and from the flies.
Till the next day, yeah.
They make the curds, they put the ash on the top, and then they use the second milking from the morning, and they put again the second layer of curds, and then you have a little Morbier cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, I learned something. I had no idea.
Yeah. So
It's quite a process. It's also in the old days, a lot of cheese or a lot of taxes in France were paid with cheese.
That's true.
Okay, so in the beginning, the reason why they put some of the ash on there was to preserve it from the flies overnight, and then also to go ahead and when the tax collector would come in and say, "Hey, what's this?" He says, "It just has ash on it," so he wouldn't take a second look.
So somewhat similar to the reblochon,
Exactly.
which reblochon is actually a term that means the second milking of the cow.
Yes.
Yes.
The taxmen would come in, they would milk the cows, taxmen would come in, they would pay their tax on only milking a little bit the cows. The taxmen would go, they would do a second milking and do a cheese out of this, reblochon, which means second milking.
Yes,
rebloche.
second milking.
So I really like in the European countries, a lot of the cheeses have a history, have a meaning. Reblochon being one. Morbier, I just learned. That would be interesting to see if the two different layers had a different taste because they would be milking at different times. Lots of interesting little facts about European cheeses. Sure.
By the way, Rapluchon is no longer or cannot no longer be imported in the U.S.
Okay.
Okay, which yes, absolutely, but we have the next best thing, which
Yeah.
would be the Delice de Joie, and it's very similar to the Rapluchon right over here. So this is what it looks like, Delice de Joie. It's produced in the Jura region or Jura region, and it is not a PDO. It can't be called Rapluchon, but it can be called a Rapluchon style cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, this cheese for the United States is pasteurized.
Yeah.
Okay. So because we're still kind of hesitant over here, raw milk cheeses always have to be aged over 60 days. And this is a fresh cheese. It's a very young cheese. It's released about 2 weeks after production and has a great long shelf life, but it won't do it 60 days. Okay, so that's why you see Pilota, Moke, Comté, and all the other ones. Okay, which is kind of changed. But this one is a fantastic cheese. Come in. You can put that in the morning if you make a frittata. It gives it this really incredible flavor. Between this, a little bit of goat cheese, and just said, oh, the Comté would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Girls, what do you think?
So, alone, it is not my favorite cheese. But this is her. So, she did mention that Pelota was her second favorite cheese because
I don't know. It's good.
no, this is your favorite cheese. That's
This
why this is your number one.
Montier is my favorite cheese.
She
Because
listen to
it's
me.
very. This one right here. So for this one, we played around with it and we made a summer salad. It pairs very well with tomatoes. What else is on it?
I don't know. I didn't get to eat it. You ate it. You just showed me pictures, and
So-
you're like, "This is what you could have."
We did like a small little salad with some tomatoes, some
Hold up.
with a baguette.
I think I have the pictures.
And I think it was Benoit's baguette too that we had at home. Yeah. So we used some bread, a small little tomato salad, and a kind of asparagus puree on there.
have it anymore, but it looked so stinking good.
I don't know if I have it.
You probably do. But I don't know if you guys have craisins or even apricots at home. I ate this with a craisin and it changed my life. Oh, get in there.
Can you see? Hold up. He said, hold up. Oh. You see it? I see it.
See,
Yeah.
she sends me those pictures and she asks me why I get so angry. Like it's a beautiful plate, but
This was with the pelota with the. Oh, you can't see it. How can you make it show?
the cheese is too white.
How did you check Instagram story?
Check our story. It'll be on our story tonight.
Yeah,
Cured and
on
Wait.
Cured and Wait. But again, by itself, not my favorite cheese. It's a little on the citrusy kind of bitter side if you just eat it by itself.
Very pungent.
Very pungent. But with something sweet, I actually admire it quite a bit.
Yes.
So
So fruits, smoked meats, those.
I don't know if you at home what you're pairing these cheeses with. We'd love to hear it.
Oh, also grilled cheese with caramelized onions. We did that too.
Oh,
That's another good one.
that would be really good.
That would be nice with just a little bit of balsamic drizzle on it.
Yeah.
Balsamic drizzle on that would be very, very yummy.
Morbier grilled cheese with balsamic and
The jambon de
caramelized
Bayonne.
onions.
Mm.
Prosciutto de Bayonne.
We're talking
Ooh.
all kinds of dirty right now.
Oh yeah. See, we got you. What else is it good with? French sausages.
So sick.
I could see it being really good on this bread, melted right on top of it.
Yes,
That
Definitely.
I can see.
so good. Are you guys liking it so far? Let us know.
Any favorite cheeses?
Joanne, have you
Oh.
finished it all?
We can read everything right here. I just noticed.
We
All right.
bought some of your salamis and sourdough flatbread today. How was it, Amanda?
Was it banging?
Agree on pungent. Yes, we love it so far.
Awesome.
Ah,
That's great.
who's hello? Hi, hello.
Hi, hello.
Pilota is smooth.
I love
my
how I say I
favorite.
don't like this by itself and I'm eating it by itself.
Because it's good.
It's growing on me.
I think it's interesting when you taste the center of the cheese, how it is completely different than when you eat it with the rind. Okay, the rind normally is kind of funky, a little bit of bitter. It is a wash rind cheese, so it has a tendency to crystallize a little bit on the outside and have some bitterness from the salty brine that they're using. So when you take a nibble from the inside and taste that, and then take a nibble from the outside, right on the edge, you will get two completely different flavor profiles on this particular cheese, with most cheeses. Sorry?
Okay. Yeah, I would like to add some of the recipe we use those cheese in France. So the reblochon, so this one we usually make a really nice tartiflette with. So I know
Tartiflette.
Benoit, you know what I'm talking about. So tartiflette is pretty much some potatoes, and then you had some petit salé, which we could use some bacon and some grilled onion, and then you put the cheese on the top. Sorry, you put cheese on the top, put it in the oven. You could use exactly the same recipe with the morbier, and then the name of the dish is the morbiflette.
We're gonna post that recipe, just a simple recipe for that actually tomorrow, and that way you can recreate it at home.
Yes.
Much fun playing around with food. Doing it for so many years, it just always amazes me every time I get to try the different cheeses, and even from summertime to wintertime to fall to spring, on how different the cheese can taste because of the different seasonalities, the different again terroir, the different products, grasses, weeds they eat, the thistles. You can taste that in the milk. Okay, I had a very great conversation, or good conversation, with a chef yesterday, and we're talking about cheeses that are made on the coastline, especially wines and cheeses that have that morning dew come in. The saltiness on the grasses is settling down. The morning mist carries a lot of salt, and then it settles on the grasses, and you have the sheep and the goats and the cows eat that, and then you can taste that. So in France, in particular on the Atlantic coast, you can definitely taste the difference in different regions. It's just absolutely amazing how much of a influx the terroir has.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and especially now we're going to talk about the Comté, and the terroir is very important in the Comté. So the Comté is made in the Massif du Jura region, like the same region it is with the Morbier. So it's a cooked curds, pressed cheese, and raw milk. So this cheese has a smooth texture and a range of flavor from nutty, creamy, sweet to more meaty, roasted. So the minimum age for that cheese is 4 months, but like Michael said earlier, this cheese is about like 6 months to
6 to 8 months.
Yes, 8 months. You could find some age as old as 3 years too.
4 years. Yes,
Sorry,
I was just
whoopsie.
offered. I was just offered a 4-year aged Comté. Obviously, the longer you age a cheese, the more expensive it gets because the less weight. You're losing about 20 to 30% by loss of whey. Okay, so that means whey is extracted, it evaporates, and you lose all that weight. By the way, just to give you an idea again, or remind you, when you make cheeses like that, it's usually 8 to 10 pounds of milk for 1 pound of cheese. And the older the cheese gets, of course, that ratio changes then. So that's why a pound is approximately a liter. Okay, or what we have over here, very similar, is a quart.
2 pounds.
2 pounds.
2 pounds a liter.
2 pounds a liter. Okay. So,
Okay.
Talk about the lactate versus lactose intolerance.
oh yes, absolutely.
Tell Tyler he's okay.
Tyler, you should be okay on the harder cheeses. On the softer ones, you may have a little bit of problem with the Moutier, but the Comté, the Mimolette, and the Pilota, you should be fine. Absolutely, definitely on the Pelota.
Exactly.
Oh, Zach, I'm sorry, Zach. So the harder the cheese, especially, well, first of all, the only cheese that has lactose is actually a cow's milk cheese. So you always want to make sure if you're lactose intolerant that A, you get your pills, and B, you use the harder cheeses. Okay, so definitely you want to try cheeses or eat cheeses that are 6 months, 8 months, a year. The older the better, because the less weight it has. Okay, on goat and sheep's milk cheeses, you don't have to worry about it. Because
So in the lactose is the sugar in the milk.
correct.
So and the cheese, the lactose disappear, as the cheese is transform into curds. So and of course the sugar disappear also when it's aged. So the longer it's aged, the less sugar you find it. And for people intolerant, they could easily have Parmigiano Reggiano because even if it's a cow's milk, to eat the Parmigiano Reggiano because this one has to be aged for at least a year. And here in the store, we have a 2 years age. I mean, a little over 2 years now, and we also have some 5 years.
On Parmesan Reggiano, I know we're thrown this in, you brought it up.
Yeah.
The way it is with export quality, there is some younger ones now more and more popping up, especially on the Reggiano. So please make sure, ask your cheesemonger, ask your cheese shop, how old is the Parmesan? Okay. What you want to look for is you want to look for these white speckles in there. That's definitely an age indication. We age Parmesan or purchase Parmesan 24 months Reggiano for a reason, because it has this absolutely incredible flavor profile that we're looking to give to our chefs. And again, the older the cheese, the drier it is. We even have our Grana Padana grading here in house. We age 24 months, or we get aged for us to 24 months. So you get a drier Grana or Reggiano. We do grade them fresh here in house, and that way you have usually about a 9 to 12 day shelf life. Why do we say 9 to 12 days? In summertime, with it being warmer, sometimes temperature plays a factor in that. So, and also we don't add anything to it. So there is no cellulose, there is no mold inhibitor added to our Parmesan. You literally we take the cheese, we wipe it down with a water and vinegar solution to reduce the mold and or wipe it off. And then we are grading it, the inside of the cheese. So you have this really delicate, powdery, fresh, incredible Parmesan.
Yeah. So I would like to add also, I personally like Parmesan just shaved over my pasta, over my dish, because for me, I think when you shave the cheese, you could still taste those little crystals that, they kind of disappear when you grate it so far.
Oh, yeah.
So this is just my preference.
What are the crystals inside the Parmesan or inside the aged cheese?
So it's an amino acid. The crystal inside the cheese is an amino acid, and it's coming in the process when the cheese is aged. So you find those crystals that we call tyrosine in Parmigiano Reggiano, in Miolette. So the cheese we're going to talk about
Right here,
after the Comté.
these little white
Yeah.
spots.
You could find also in age Gouda and also Pecorino. I mean, a lot of aged cheeses got those little crystally. And of course, cheddars. Sorry,
Yes.
I forgot the cheddars. Cheddars, sometimes you find also the crystal on the outside. For example, here we have 12-year-old cheddars. It's very white on the outside, and this is not mold. This is just the natural crystallization you could find on the outside of the cheese, and of course, you find also the tyrosine on the inside. And the crystallization outside the cheese, it's called calcium lactate. So it's a different type of crystal, but it's also, I mean, it's also really good. I mean, I like, they're crunchy, and so it's amazing that to have those cheeses with crystallization on the outside and crystallization in the inside. So yeah.
Go ahead. For me, it was always amazing traveling or going shopping as a kid with my parents in Hagenau at the grocery store. And even my wife, when I took her over, Kathy, when I took her over to France, we went Reims and Apennine to the Champagne region. Hi, honey. We went to Carrefour Market, and they really had a cooler where they just stack these wheels of different age Comté. And you walk in there and you see 20 different ages of different ages, different producers, different characters. And you go in there and the cheesemonger can tell you absolutely everything about it. Who's the producer? Who's how it's made? It's a delight. If you ever have a chance to travel to Europe, go into any of the grocery stores or cheese caves in France, in Paris in particular, cheese shops, and check them out. It's really interesting.
So back to the Comté. So Comté, it's a big wheel. It's about 28 inches in diameter. So big wheel,
Just big.
like 4 inches high, weighed about 71 to 90 pounds. And on average, to make one wheel, you need 105 gallons of milk.
Yes. And trust me, it's not easy to go ahead and pick up these cheeses, put them on the table, and then cut them. Okay, we do cut them to order. We're bringing them in as whole wheels, and we crack literally every wheel open right here in the shop. So next time you're in, ask if we're cracking open a wheel of Comté or Parmesan, and actually it will be one of the next upcoming classes sometime soon, or just a quick video. Brian is giving me the evil stink eye, so we'll figure something out, okay? But please come in, ask us to give you guys a tour, and we show you some different cheeses. Ladies, what do you think?
I feel Pilota and Comté have very similar smells, but as for taste, Comté is one of those cheeses that are very interesting in the fact that it is sweet, but it's also savory.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's why you can do so much with Comté. I loved it with this apricot jam.
Oh, we just paired it right now.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for apricot jam, we got you covered.
Yeah, we here in the shop, and we put that on some toast. And oh my, the only thing that it was missing was if it was hot. I feel
Toasted,
like
yeah.
toasted, the cheese melts a little bit. It would have gave off so many different flavors, but the cheese is very savory, smoky, fruity. It's
Very fruity.
Yeah, and like I said, it's the craziest thing to me how like you bite into it. First off, you think it's a sweet cheese, and then you let it develop, the flavor develop more in your mouth, and it's savory.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's
You can do a lot of things with this cheese, pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah. Maritza made these. What are those called? The wafers. What are they called? Water crackers. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, she made them.
Did she make it?
Grace.
Yeah.
Did she make it?
She made it.
Yeah, she made those little
all the goodies.
water crackers with Comte in it. We made mac and cheese with it. It's really good in fondue.
I feel like with a sweet dough, almost like a flatbread with the comte, with some pears and some balsamic vinegar, and then some prosciutto.
I would grill the pears.
Yeah,
pears.
the pears. That's I'm getting a lot of approval over here. It sounds like amazing. It's got that sweet, you get that savory, you get that salty, and I feel like all of that is what comte is. And putting that on like a sweet flatbread.
That's your go-to cheese.
Yeah, it is a I can't see it not being a go-to cheese, to be honest with you. Just because, like we were saying, you can do so much with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want like a fancy
And it melts.
Gruyere, hello.
It is
Conte.
and it melts so well. So well. The fattiness of it is just beautiful in cooking.
Yes.
So,
Definitely.
and then with this wine, it doesn't hurt because this wine is a little bit on the.
Oh, I didn't even try it.
It's good. It's good. It's a sweeter red. So I feel like, again, it's just so dang scrumptious.
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't lie to you guys either.
Well,
Okay, Benoit and Jason, why don't you guys, Benoit in particular right now, why don't you go ahead and start talking about your bread, the make procedures, how do you make it, the effort that it takes to make something from scratch.
So the baguette you're enjoying tonight started baking at 4 a.m. this morning, but it's actually a process that starts the day before. Sourdough, my sourdough strain is a 3 or 4 years old sourdough at this point. I started out of just wanting to learn a new skill and looking just baking hundreds of baguettes on the weekends.
Delicious treats.
Thank you very much. So all the baguettes that you have are made with organic flour. Organic bread flours. We use about 90% organic flours in all our breads. We don't call our bakery as a organic bakery just because not all my flours or all my ingredients are organic, but we can say about 80-90% is. The baguettes are started actually Wednesday morning. It's a 2-hour bulk fermentation, and then it spends about 24 hours in the fridge. That's what we call bulk retard. Pull the dough for 4:30 on Thursday morning. Is it Thursday today? I'm losing track. This quarantine thing is really messing with me here. So Thursday morning, pull the dough, divide up, pre-shape, shape, proof about 30 to 45 minutes, and then bake in the oven. I was really lucky about a year and a half ago when, unfortunately for Andre had to close his restaurant at Palms. I recouped his bread oven, his mixer, and one of his fridge, and that's how I started my bread production. So my bread oven takes about an hour to heat up. So while I shape, and proof my bread, the oven is heating up, and then we go straight into baking with steam at first for a good oven spring, and then the steam comes off, and then we get that beautiful caramelization. I really like baguettes. It's a fun bread to do for a Frenchman. It's really a staple. What I don't have much of an accent. You didn't recognize I was French at first. For a Frenchman, baguette is kind of a staple. It's something that we all grew up on, and that was really my goal, to learn how to make those and make them well. I'm really happy with those.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying them at home as well. I have to say, this baguette with the Comté is a 10, absolute 10. If you're home and when you're enjoying your cheese, the Comté gets so much better as it warms up. When you do those classes going forward, make sure your cheese is at half an hour before you use the start, because a Comté straight out of the fridge is not good. It's not good. I highly and with this bread with baguette, it's a perfect 10. I really like the nuttiness of the baguette.
Okay, so yeah, he stopped by real quick. It's always talk to him real
He's such a
briefly.
good man.
But, oh my God, he's a phenomenal chef, incredible.
Mhm.
I missed the restaurant of Andre's downtown on 4th Street and 3rd Street. Was it 3rd Street?
You know, I never got to visit.
Oh my God, he was
I went to the one at Monte Carlo
Yeah.
and the one at Palms, but
Right.
never made it down.
Yeah, throughout the years, it was always a treat. And thank you for Chef for in 2000 for giving us the opportunity with MGP Specialty Food back then to be a distributor for you. But going through France, going back to France and traveling and going camping on the campgrounds over there, you will experience in the morning that by about 8 o'clock, all of a sudden you have the baker driving around.
Making
And
a
selling-
raucous.
Oh yeah, making a ruckus, exactly. And selling you these fresh baguettes, and not even 20, 30 minutes later, there's the butcher coming through and selling you charcuterie,
Yeah.
okay, charcuterie and fresh salamis. And then, of course, what do? You eat bread, you eat charcuterie, you eat grapes, and it's, oh my God, it's such a treat.
And then you pass out in the summer heat in your tent
Exactly.
or by the
So,
pool.
By the pool. Jason,
Mediterranean lifestyle is not too,
Hmm.
not too tough to,
It's
to
not-
enjoy.
not shabby at all.
Well,
I-
next time you're here,
Oh,
make
you're-
sure you ask Michael about his endeavors in France. Such a treat.
Cheers.
Nice. We'll touch on the wines on the last two. So the Morbier, you're definitely getting, that ash is prominent, especially if, if you're cut the right way and, trying to get a little piece of it. That matches perfectly with the En Passant. You're going to, when we tasted these wines, we went through several different, varietals and, tried different things. And I felt like this wine was almost like if you just had cheese and you didn't have the cheese board, like you didn't have the nuts, you didn't have the raisins, you didn't have the charcuterie. This kind of has all of that in it. It is more, it's so diverse. You've got, the bacon fat, the prosciutto, the lentils, herbs de Provence. And really, this hits up extremely well with the Morbier, with the
Comté.
Comté and the Morbier. But I think the Comté is even more suitable for this because the Comté has this kind of finish to it to a certain extent. It's almost like a dry cheese. And so that dry cheese really matches up, and you get that. That's when the fruit really showcases in this, and you get that kiss of sweetness that comes through. Those boysenberries, huckleberries, mulberries, and the high mountain fruit that you're going to find that Sera generally throws out there.
What's kind of interesting is, especially when you go, even with the Pilota and the Comté, that particular wine, the Peasant, is just, like you said, the aroma of the herb de Provence is very interesting and very dominant.
Yep.
And for me, excellent choice. Okay, so thank you for all that, bringing that in. That was
Just have to drink.
all right.
That's the light one. You know?
That was Kathy just stealing my wine, by the way.
You're gonna want the richer one.
Which one is that one?
That's the Fleury.
The flurry, yeah, the
You want the
So the
Fleur?
Fleury is Beaujolais region. Gamay is the grape. Can be a lot of people don't know how fine and how great these wines.
that's why it doesn't actually say Beaujolais really on the bottle, because
can,
they have to advertise themselves away.
Yeah, exactly. So Nouveau comes out on the third Thursday of November. That's why it's so great with Thanksgiving dinners. Turkey and Beaujolais or light meats or cheeses are classic pairings. Something from Jura is going to be great with this. So they do a process called carbonic maceration, where they bring the grapes in. They, some destem them, some throw them whole cluster. They put them in these big tanks, and then they pump in carbon dioxide. And pumping in that carbon dioxide does a couple things. One, it changes the profile of the fruit. It gives it a little more tannin structure. It lightens it up in a sense, and it gives it kind of like a bubblegum note. Some people are big fans of it. They sell quite a lot of it. So, it's just delicious, easy. Throw it in the fridge for a little bit, and, it's fun to celebrate it when the it was basically a way for the wine producers to make right away and not have to wait for their village or crew wines to age. It's still that process. But they also make Beaujolais Village, and then they make Beaujolais Crus. So there's 10 crus that are basically the upper echelon of what you would consider Gamay, and they really do carbonic. They make it traditional style of winemaking. Most French wines use some form of whole cluster. These particularly use about 60%. The rest are handpicked and selected. It goes through a maceration of about 20 to 30 days, and then they're going to put it in. It depends on the producer, but it's usually about 10 months to a year in some form of usually used. You're not going to find, this isn't a tannic wine. It's not meant to be. These wines, can, if you get something from like Morgon or Bruy or one of the other villages that generally tend to make a more structured tannic style, they can last 3 to 5 year range. But it's essentially extremely well made Gamay. Great value.
Absolutely, for the price.
For what you're getting, what the winemakers go through. I mean, if Burgundy's too much and it's expensive, Cru Beaujolais is always delicious. And it's amazing how these 10 little villages are all right next to each other, but they're extremely different in their styles.
Well, I mean, the one thing is for us, driving to Henderson, we went past 6 different villages over there because everything is so tight and so unique, and these are small villages, 200, 300, 400 people. Okay, and then you have the next village. Okay, so and seeing that when you go into, I was very intrigued by Epony, for example. Okay, you go into the Champagne region, just south of France, and there's the small village of Epony. Epony is approximately 15,000 people.
Try 30, what do you know?
Okay, and if you go, we were in the campground, and my wife and I, we just started walking. Okay, and there we went across the river. There was a little village, and then with 5-6 farmers producing champagne. Then we walked up at 2 kilometers, mile and a half. There is another small little village. It's just, again, making farmers that are making champagne right there. And that's what's so unique in Europe when you travel and you get to experience. And some of these wines and champagnes we will never really see over here because there's too small of a production. So seeing this over here as small producers, thank you for bringing that to us. I mean, I think it's a total delight.
Yeah, I mean, they're delicious. There's something special about French wine. They've been making it for millennia. So, specifically, Sera comes actually, it's a derivative of Sicily. And there's a small town called Syracuse. That's where they think Syrah originally came from. But, the French didn't have grapes until someone else brought them there.
Yeah. Thanks to the
But
Romans.
the French did really well in perfecting it, for sure.
Yes.
Like many other things.
Well, I mean,
Bread, cheese.
yeah, absolutely. I wasn't until the chefs came over and the marriage happened, that really the cooking evolved over there. And now look at it. I mean, friends, and cooking is the same with wine. Spectacular. Okay, that's just absolutely enjoyable. I don't know, you as a chef, tell me about French cooking.
Oh, well,
What's your training? What's your background?
so I got into cooking because my brother did, basically. And as crazy as it sounds, and as, you know, antagonistic as a relationship was back then, I wanted to do what my brother did in culinary arts, and then did a 2-year degree after that. And that's what I call BTS. It's one of the higher recognition, higher diplomas you can get. Thank you very much. Diploma you can get in France for technical types of work. Michelin star restaurant in the middle of nowhere really middle of nowhere. We were in a valley. We didn't get cell phone reception. We had to drive 4 miles up the valley to get, I had to drive up the valley to call my parents home. Crazy.
Well, at least you had cell phones. We didn't have that when I was an apprenticeship.
Well,
Yeah,
let's say that was a couple
Smoke
years.
signals.
You were a couple years before me. And then I moved on to work in Paris, where I worked at 2 Michelin star for Hélène Darroze, which is one of the judges on Top Chef in France. And from there, I was recruited. My brother called me up to come and hang out with him here in Las Vegas to work for Joël Robuchon, which was set to become a 3 Michelin star. I had nothing to do for it. I had nothing to do with the 3 Michelin star, but it was just really a great opportunity for me to come to the state, hang out with my brother, work at the best restaurant on the Strip. And from there, I just bounced a couple of places, and I'm trying my hands at bread making while working at another place at the same time.
It's a process.
It's a process.
For us as business owners, it takes a while to get off the ground. And again, that's when you start small with literally with nothing. It's you put your passion in, you put your family, your life, everything into it, and you make it work. Okay, yeah. And I still think this is one of the greatest countries to go ahead and start a business.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I knowing now what the cost would be in Europe to start a business, alone a restaurant, is just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, and I just can't see it. I mean, Europe, in the old days at least, some of the breweries, when I was in Germany, the breweries were sponsoring and saying, okay, good, you want to open up a restaurant, we're going to give you this much money, but you have to only sell our beer and our product. Okay, so you were in a lock because, and they knew exactly what they were doing because it was between the taxes, the insurance, everything, it was just so expensive. Okay, and over here, it still is expensive, insurance and taxes and licensing, health department fees. People don't really understand it. Okay, but and for us to go ahead and do that, it takes a passion to do this. Okay, because a lot of times you sacrifice a lot. You're working a lot of hours. You've been up since what, 3 o'clock this morning?
4:30.
4:30. Okay, so he already has a full shift and a half in. Okay, so but that's what it takes to go ahead and get a business off the ground. So,
we do it because we like it.
we love what we do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and especially in an environment, something that is enjoyable with food, wine, cheese, bread. I mean, what's better than that? Wine, cheese, bread, beer. They all have similarities. Okay, so I think it's what's better than that? Okay.
I could live for the rest of my life.
Oh, yes. For the rest of my life, I can live off
Yes.
wine,
table.
cheese, beer, bread, and of course your guys' company. Okay, so thank you everybody.
Cheese is protein.
Oh yeah.
Yes, cheese is protein.
Yes.
Eat more cheese.
And fat. And fat. Good fat.
It's good
All right.
Keto diet.
So to get back to our class,
Yes.
I want to give you the mimolette.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Melon.
Last not least, I'm just going to talk about it real quick. Last not least, we have this absolutely stunning mimolette. It's called Bulle de Lis, and it's also called Bulle d'Or. Depends on where it comes from. And Caroline, as soon as we go over to the girls, and then come back to you, and we talk about the mimolette.
Okay, of course.
Okay, Janelle and Jamie. Come on, Brian.
Chop chop,
So-
Brian.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
We're wearing hats.
This was Angela, but Angela's not in the class today.
So she demanded that we wear hats.
Because she couldn't take it seriously without a hat. What does it say? What is it?
Put a
Cheeser.
cheese
Go
there.
for a cheeser.
Why?
I cannot.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I cannot wait for Caroline to talk about this cheese because it's kind of a juicy story.
Oh, yeah.
On I don't know if she's
The
gonna
make
go.
of it?
I don't know if she's gonna go into the history of it. But
You know it.
I
Yeah,
do know.
yeah, so
I do
tell-
know.
She,
Yeah,
she read up on it. Go ahead, tell
So
her.
she knows.
So back in the day, this is why I say it's juicy. It's some cheesemeh in
Cheesemeh.
in translation. Cheesemeh in Spanish is I don't know what it means. I only know it in
Gossip?
English. Gossip. Thank you, but it's not gossip. It's like
It's like, what's the word?
I don't know how to translate cheesemeh because that's all I know. That's how I've been described it, but it's just some juicy stuff. So back in the day, the Dutch and the French were feuding together. So Edam, which was pretty much Dutch's, so the Dutch made Edam, and then France copied and made mimolette. Because the ruler, the king of France, whose name was, what was his name, Caroline?
Louis.
Louis something.
Yeah,
Louis the
Louis,
something.
Louis something.
Louis XIV.
Louis
the fourth.
XIV.
Yes.
Louis XIV. The 14th.
The 14th. The
Yes.
14th.
Yes.
So he was very bitter because a lot of the northern French, they love the Duchess cheese so much. Edam?
Edam. Yeah.
Edam?
Cheesemeh.
Cheese.
Spicy.
Edam, a lot of the French were bringing it back to France as contraband, and the king found out, and he did not like that. He was very bitter, so he pretty much demanded that this cheese be made in France. And so, to make it different, they changed the color. So Edam, I don't know what color it is, but mimolette is orange. They want to make it different from the Dutch cheese. And so I just thought that was such an interesting fun fact and tidbit about mimolette because I had no idea. I just eat cheese typically. I usually just eat it and admire it for what it is, but I never really admired the history of it. So doing these classes more and more, I took the initiative, and we all did. We all took the initiative and educated ourselves. And
For you.
and for us.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, that was probably the biggest tidbit I've got out of this because, of course, I am all about the cheesemeh.
He said, dame the cheesemeh.
I will be Malo
Do you know why it's orange?
because of the fruit.
Yeah, neither.
The annatto.
I don't know how to.
They
I
use
didn't
the
know
annatto for the natural food coloring,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Natural food coloring.
Yep.
Ooh.
But
Just like cheddar, it's the same. The annatto is every time you want to do.
go ahead. Go over there.
oh,
Go
oh.
over there.
Come back soon.
Annatto is a very common food coloring used to make these yellow or orange. Okay, for literally just a coloring agent. So, matter of fact, when you come in next time, Caroline or Janelle or Jamie or Maritza or Marissa, to sample either one of Tipperary cheddar. We have Tipperary cheddar that's 6 months aged. It comes in bright orange, white. So close your eyes and then taste the cheese, and I will mix the plate for you. Okay, I switch them because I just want to make sure. And it's funny to see the reaction of a lot of people because the eye eats first. A lot of people and a lot of chefs, God, the orange is so much better than the regular white. It's just something about the flavor. Trust me, it's the same cheese. Okay, it's 6 months aged. They're made side by side in the same plant, and but I let you be the judge when you guys come in. Please ask for it.
The same thing generally will happen with wine, white or red. If you had your eyes closed and there was the same exact temperature, most people would not be able to tell the difference.
What
If it's red or white wine.
What is annatto?
It's a
Is
seed.
it's a seed.
So it's
Okay, go ahead.
so annatto. I would be curious to know. I haven't done my research on it. Annatto is what Latin America called achiote. That's what you make salsa roja with. But how did it end up also in Europe to make mimolet? That I don't know, and I would be curious to know. It's got to be a plant that grows in both regions. But yeah, it's that deep red seed, and you can just make a paste with it and use it as a food coloring to make either salsa roja or mimolet.
It's interesting. You just brought up a good point. Annatto is obviously used American item seed, and when you look at and talking about again history, for the longest time, the German trade organization was buying up all the coffee from Costa Rica, from Panama, from Ecuador, and they had to be brought all the way to Germany to be roasted, and then they were shipped back. Okay, so a lot of times annatto was brought along on these ships to Europe. Okay, so it was actually harvested in South America, and then it was brought on the coffee ships, that's what we called them back then, and to Europe, and then it was processed over there, and that's how it got throughout Europe. So this has been going on for a very long time, and I would be surprised if one of the big sailors going back and forth brought annatto to Europe. Okay, that's the only thing I can assume, but
Makes sense.
we're gonna find out for you.
Are there mites or bugs involved in the process?
Are you what?
Are there mites or bugs involved in the process?
Oh, yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
And it is so sad that we really can't feature you a true mimolet
It's
or
alive.
Bouilleur because in the old days when I had it in my cooler, I had to keep it separate from all the other cheese, and I mean literally by 5, 6, 8 feet, okay, because there was mites on the outside. When you look at the rind, okay, right over here, now you see it actually nice and smooth. In the old days, you would see holes in it, okay? And when you open the box, there would be a lot of dust falling out, okay? So that was actually the mites eating away on the rind and aging the cheese, okay? Sadly, we can't have that anymore because it is actually illegal now because of terrorism. A lot of people were worried about it, that this would be one of those things that would cause harm to people. So it was eliminated. So now they're actually also pasteurizing the cheese a lot of times. But this one is still a raw milk cheese because it's aged over 6 months and comes over here. We can even age it. It is available also as a 1-year aged mimolet.
Yeah.
Caroline?
The better.
Yeah, so I would like to talk about a little bit of Anato. So historically, the story of Anato, most of the time you could find that in England with the cheddars. You know, it depends of the milk you use. Some milk are more, I would say, yellow than the other, more white, and the yellow contain more fats. So when you make cheeses from, I would say, a milk with more fat, so more yellow, you're gonna have a cheese a little bit more yellow, and so it's that it proved that the cheese contain more fat and it's more rich, it's more pleasant for the palate. So historically, they add a little bit of coloring to say, oh, you see, my cheese is a little more orange, so it contains a better milk and more fat. But that's the little story. So
Cheese man.
yeah. So back to the mimolette. The mimolette contained the annatto coloring because the French decide to put that annatto to make the difference from the edam. And also, I mean, the edam, the rind is a waxy rind, and the mimolette is a natural rind with, of course, those little mites. Little mice, thanks to them, they give that cheese that nuttiness, and there's also a lot of similar between edam and mimolette. It's exactly the same process. So to make that cheese kind of creamy and mild and nutty, they wash the curds. That's a process. I mean, when before to drain all the way from the curds, they add hot water, so it stops the process and makes the cheese very mild and creamy. So they keep exactly the same process, but only at the end they don't cover the cheese with the wax, but they use the natural rind instead.
Yeah, it's about 2013 when 2012, 2013, when the USDA, FDA finally decided actually in regards of the mites being kind of dangerous, and they put a temporary ban on the mimolette, and then
those terrorist mice.
oh yeah, those
they're
terrorist mites are just dangerous. Okay, and so anyway, so 2013, 2014, when there was actually a ban, mimolette was not available, and I actually had to go for the second time in my 20-year history to a complete recall. Okay, where I had to go ahead, I got the notification from the FDA, and I had to call, we had to check all the customers that we sold the mimolette to within the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And we had to call the customer now and say, hey, listen, there's a recall on this particular cheese. We don't have any idea why. And we have to recall the cheese. What do you have left? And a lot of them just started laughing about that.
We ate it all.
Because yeah, it's gone by now. Are
we
you
don't
kidding
have
me?
any. No.
3 weeks, 3 weeks, and some of it we were able to recuperate. Everything that we had in stock, we had to completely wrap up right on there. Do not touch, USDA, FDA, hold, and we weren't able to sell it. So, but on the other hand, my cheese was sitting there for 6 months, 8 months. They were actually trying to decide if we had to ship the cheese back to our importer, or if we can store it on property until they figured out, and it was money and taxes. Okay, but anyway, so needless to say, the cheese, then when we finally were able to sell it again, it was absolutely spectacular. By that time, it was
Oh, you bet.
16, 18 months of age. Wow, that's all I can say. It was such a treat.
Probably lost
Okay.
a lot of weight from the mice.
Oh yeah,
just
from the
eating at
mites.
it.
I mean, some of the cheeses were completely destroyed. Okay, because of the mites, but some of them on especially the center ones, but some on the outside of the palate were just absolutely spectacular. And absolutely spectacular.
So I would like to say also that that's the only cheese who could contain those mites. That's the only one, because usually mite in cheese are a defect.
Yes.
So that's really, the only one we could, I would say, everything, accept the mite in the cheese. The thing also, that cheese over in France could be found very young. So you could eat it, some mimolette. Here, usually the mimolette that you could find start to be aged for a year, and kind of soft cheese. Wow. That's the little history on that.
So
Soft cheese?
Yeah, well,
So,
in France, it
in-
is.
in
it
France,
is
yeah.
in France. But
But
here, you
in the younger years,
yes,
when it's young.
yes,
okay, it's again, it goes through the process of being a soft cheese, and then the older it gets, the drier it
Yeah.
gets, it becomes a semi-firm or even a firm cheese.
Yeah.
Obviously,
So,
with
yeah.
again the whey evaporating and the
So-
mites being away.
So here you find the mimolette vieille, that means the 12 months, and extra vieille, the 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And mimolette is normally produced right on the Belgium border. It's called mimolette or Bulle de Lis.
Boule de
Bulle de
Lille,
Lis,
yeah,
and then north of the border it would be Bulle d'Or, okay, on the Belgium side. So, and it is produced also in Belgium, just a small, very small region just north of the border. But again, they're making a spectacular cheese over there. Both of them are delicious, and they're all considered under that mimolette, Bulle d'Or, Bulle de Lis name.
Yeah. So mimolette could be also made in the Normandy region, but usually they age in around the Lille region. I mean, northern France. That's the. So the aroma, it's like very butterscotchy, fruity, nutty, and caramel. It's really, really good, and I love that cheese. So,
All right.
So, the reason why I freaked out when she did the translation for mimolette as a soft cheese is because prepping these cheese for you guys for the class, that is a hard cheese.
To cut.
It is so hard to cut. Like, I feel like I can lift a house now because of how much work it was to cut that cheese. I mean, Caroline did most of it, but
We just wrap.
that was hard enough.
I mean, wrapping's hard too.
But anyhow,
Well, wrapping and cutting.
yes,
Talk
right.
about the cutting.
Yeah. The cutting was definitely. We had to let the cheese temper
For a day.
For a day in order to cut it with ease. So it's not an easy cheese to cut whatsoever.
You can knock someone out with it.
You
I
could.
tell you.
It's a weapon.
Somebody said they not cutting cheese.
You're very
You're welcome. I cut
welcome.
the cheese every day.
I get it.
Thanks for making that.
But so mimolette, the pairings, there is a lot you can do with mimolette. This one's probably one of my favorites, just because I love a salty cheese, and this is a very salty cheese.
Yeah.
I do know that someone mentioned to me that someone grates this cheese on top of a macaroni.
Instead of like using Parmesan, try using mimolette
And
as
so
replacement.
I imagined that, and I tasted it, and I
Yes.
can't wait to do it.
I with salads.
If you mix it up between Here,
Go ahead. I'll mention it.
mix it up, okay, between cheddar, 1 part of cheddar,
1 cheddar,
and 2 parts of mimolette.
2
Two
parts
parts.
mimolette.
And then you make a mac and cheese. out
And you
of
make
it.
a mac and cheese.
That was absolutely spectacular.
It's a bomb. Spectacular.
So he
So
said,
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
1 part 1 part cheddar.
Make a mac and cheese.
And it is and gratinate it a little bit on
Gratinate.
That
top.
means it gets that little crust on top.
Make it crusty. I mean,
American.
bake it,
Oh yeah, broil it. I'm
broil
sorry.
it, broil
Broil
it.
it.
That's the word we're looking
Yes.
for. Yeah, you can use it like
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go.
Yay! Look at this weapon.
knock somebody out. Ta-da!
It
Actually-
does look like a cantaloupe. It does camouflage itself as a cantaloupe, as Ryan
Whoa.
said. But
See that?
did you hear that?
Here?
Like, it is, and this is it cold. Oh,
Yeah,
you can sleep through anything.
anything.
At least this.
But there's a baby in the corner right now, and I dropped that, and it
Found him.
was very loud.
We
And
have a
so-
visitor.
Look,
Yeah,
you
we do have
one.
a visitor. He's sleeping. He's got the chubbiest cheeks.
Oh, Kathy.
Ooh, I just
Say hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Hi, Kathy.
But yeah, he can
The little
sleep
cheese
through
curd.
anything. But yes, it does look like a cantaloupe.
How much does the whole thing cost?
The whole thing.
Whole thing.
You weigh down. Let me see.
Go check it.
What's the weight?
Go
7
check it.
pounds?
Probably
Times.
feels like it.
It's 6.5 pounds.
So
We about to find out for you
How
guys.
many months is this?
that's the 6 months. I'm sorry, no, that's the 12 months.
Yeah, this one's 12 months.
So this one here,
What's it per pound?
You gotta get.
it's $21.99 a pound.
$21.99 a pound. So
So what is it
$21.99.
$140 right here.
$140.
Yeah, $140.
Ooh.
And
Good luck cutting it.
Yeah,
I want to watch.
I was about to say, I'm like, if you buy this and you cut it, I want you to show us.
If you
the
come in and you
process.
buy the whole cheese, I take 15% off.
Oh, if you come in, buy the whole wheel or whole bowl,
Cantaloupe.
15% off.
That's what Mr. Michael said. We quote him.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't us.
And then when you buy it, you have to record yourself cutting it open because I want to watch.
And
Oh,
see
yeah.
if you guys listen to us.
He said, I will be
Yeah,
buying
no
some
liability.
Pelota."
No liability.
Anyways, anything else to add on the mimolette?
We have the knives for it.
We
but,
do.
Oh, we have the big knife, right? The
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah, we have all the knives to help you guys cut this if you need the assistance. And
But we're not gonna cut it for you.
No.
We want to watch you
if
cut
you're
it.
gonna buy this whole thing, I'll be like, go ahead, you're making my life easier. Like it's definitely a task, and we were so happy to do it for you guys. Don't think we're like, God, we gotta cut this
No,
really
it's fun.
for over 40 people. We kind of thought that, but it's okay. It was totally worth it because then we got some ourselves.
Oh yeah.
But so
Anyways, on that note,
just throw it.
away. So we got a couple boards coming up. If you guys are still looking for Father's Day boards, we told you last cheese class that we were gonna do a pretzel board for Father's Day. This feeds roughly about 2 to 3 people. It's $50 for this board. It comes with a giant pretzel, as you can see.
But then also our next class, which I'm very excited for, I've worked at a couple breweries before coming here, and it's going to be a beer and cheese pairing, and you can also get this pretzel board for that class as well, if you so wish.
In addition,
So I think it would be beautiful. We do have it would be fantastic. Very good pairing. I'm excited. But yes, the Father's Day boards.
so we will be open Saturday the 20th for pickups for the boards. We will be open from just for pickups. Oh no.
Tell them also that these pretzels are actually made in Bavaria, in Munich, and imported.
Whoa. Go ahead.
Repeat. So these are actually made in Bavaria, Munich. So these
Don't
are
miss
the real
out.
deal. They're the real deal.
If y'all like pretzels, if y'all think Auntie Anne's is good, y'all are tripping. It's right here. See?
This ain't no mall walk.
Nuh-uh. This came all the way from Munich. Ta-da. All right.
Yeah.
That's all.
But anyhow, thank you so much, you guys.
Nice seeing you. See you again in a few weeks. Can I buy just a pretzel? Yes.
And then yes,
Yes.
we will definitely take care of it. Don't
We'll
worry.
put all the information on Cured Way, on our social, all that.
or harass us. We'll
Oh, yeah.
answer your questions.
All that. Ask us, come in, call
Sometimes
us,
we need things to do.
email
call us
us.
up.
You can email me at janelle@mgpfood.com for all your cheese board needs.
NGP or Cured and White?
MGP.
Okay.
Janelle,
Oh, you're MGP?
JANELL @mgp.food. No,
Me,
mgpfood.com.
I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Will
See you
she-
in 2 weeks. Bye from us. Till next time.
Hello, everybody. Back here again with me and our team. I am thankful, grateful, appreciate you all of supporting us with this local cheese shop, with these virtual classes. Again, I would rather see all your faces and have the questions right here in front of us and see your smiling faces. And so thank you for supporting us. Caroline, thank you very much. Jamie and Janelle. Jamie and Janelle. And then, of course, Chef Benoit and Jason, thank you so much for being here and being part of this virtual cheese class with us. So thank you.
Thank you for making this possible.
Yeah, that's been fantastic.
It's been.
It almost feel
it's
like I'm
been-
home.
You know, you are. I mean, really, when you think about it, when you started with the panettone, the first time you approached me about the panettone, or the first time we met, it was actually a connection. It's the same with Jason. There was a connection, and I love working with you. I enjoy tasting your treats. Okay, so here's to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers. Cheers, Benoit. More goodies coming. We are talking to Chef Benoit in regards of possibly making us a pickup place for his breads. So that's coming down the pipeline, but we definitely will feature his panettones. And I would just
That'd be a fun Christmas
Yes.
Christmas class for sure.
Absolutely.
You do a panettone pairing too.
Oh yeah, panettone, and then we're gonna make French toast out of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
we're gonna make a live cooking show
Cool.
with French toast.
Well, let's down the pipe.
Here we go. Again, today we got also some cheeses in again. So we got Tome de Savoie, we got the Lys de Jura, we got, look at the sexy Époire
Yeah, époisse.
right over here. And then, of course, Moucou Rouge. We have this absolutely stunning Rabiola Buccina. And right next to it, we got Latour. And then there's a very special treat right in front. This one is the Cowgirl Creamery. It is actually called Inverness.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the sexy
Yeah.
cheese.
So
That's
thank
my
you.
favorite.
Thank you. Maritza! She was hiding in the back.
I was hiding a little bit, yeah. I was making a cake.
Oh, there's the other one.
You missed it.
Billy.
The jackal.
There's Marissa.
Gotta come closer.
Please tell them also that on
You're right.
Cowgirl Inverness, we only have
Have a limited stock available right now.
maybe 4 cases, 5
Maybe
cases.
4 or 5 cases.
So that's 24, 36 pieces maybe.
About 36 pieces. Come and get it.
What about
All
the
right.
Latour?
Someone said you.
Latour, we have about 24. And on the Rabiola, we have plenty. So there's about 30, 40.
Now
60.
Latour, that's the sexy cheese to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it is so stinking yummy.
15% off if anyone buys a whole wheel. I mean, bowl. Uncut. 'Cause they're
All
gonna
right.
show us what.
Cheers again.
Cheers.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much, everybody. Enjoy the
everyone.
weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. and we'll see you soon. Ladies,
Bye.
thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
It's